Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for February 27, 2024. And in the news this afternoon, man fatally shot in flanker was wanted for serious crimes, says police. Assistant Commissioner Clifford Chambers, head of Area 1 Police Headquarters, said the man who was fatally shot by the police in flanker St. James on Monday was wanted by the St. James Police for serious crimes including murders and shootings. He dismissed the claims by some residents that the man was innocent and unarmed at the time of the shooting.
Unfortunately, we have an incident at this location where a man challenged the security personnel, and based on what the joint teams were trained to do, they responded, and the man was fatally shot and an illegal firearm recovered. The person who was shot, I've since learned, is a person of interest and has been the subject of several joint police-military operations for a period of time. He has featured in several shootings and murders in the particular space here and the wider St. James division. So the team executed what they're trained to do, and we're happy that things are back to normal now and that voting has resumed for some time now.
Indicom has comments approved into the circumstances under which members of security forces, that is the military and police officers, allege that they were in the flankers area when they learned that men in the area had guns. They proceeded to the area and they alleged that they saw the men running, and when they chased the men, one particular individual, Peter Johnson, opened fire at them. They returned the fire, and when the fire subsided, they discovered that the said man had suffered gunshot wounds. They alleged that they rushed him to the Conner Regional Hospital where he was pronounced dead. This happened at about 1:30 p.m. today. We are in the process of processing the scene, and we understand that the members of the military are the concerned soldiers involved in this incident.
Mixed fortunes for candidates who switched the party allegiance. There were mixed fortunes for candidates who had switched the party allegiance in Monday's local government election. The Jamaica Labour Party's Venetia Phillips and Carrie Douglas were unsuccessful in their bids to retain their seats in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, won in 2016 on the People's National Party's ticket for their new party. Ms. Phillips lost the Pepin division to the PNP's Darrington Ferguson, while Ms. Douglas was sent packing in the Trafalgar division by Jesse Clark of the PNP. Romaine Morris managed to hold on to the Mocha division in Clarendon, moving it to the PNP column instead of the JLP, for which he had won it in 2016. The tables were turned on the PNP in Westmoreland, where two councillors who crossed the floor and joined the ranks of the JLP late last year were both able to retain their seats: Ian Miles in Little London and Garfield James in Sheffield. Darrington Ferguson, who defeated Venetia Phillips while basking in the victory, pledged to be a councillor for all his constituents.
I am elated, at the same time I am humbled, because when I look at the team and the work that the team did, I am humbled and I am honored to serve the people of the Pepin division. I will be accessible and I will never leave the people. 2, I will be a councillor for all. And 3, I will make sure that all their unanswered questions are answered.
Councillor-designate Romaine Morris thanked his supporters for returning him to the Clarendon Municipal Corporation.
I feel so good in myself to know that my job as councillor has been certified by the people of Moko. I feel so good to know that I can continue this job I love so much. I feel so good in myself to know that with all the monies that was spent, with all the big necks that came to Moko, Moko people said time come. Moko people understood the assignment.
Man held with a loaded gun at Olympic Way polling station. A man was arrested on Monday after allegedly being held with a loaded gun on the compound of a polling station in Olympic Way, St. Andrew. His identity is being withheld pending further investigations. Reports from the Hunts Bay police are that about 12:50 p.m., the man was at a polling station in the area when he was seen acting in a manner that aroused the suspicion of the security forces. He was accosted and the knapsack he was reportedly carrying was searched. According to the police, a Glock 26 pistol fitted with a magazine containing 5 and 9mm cartridges was found in his possession. He was arrested. They ask for money for their votes, says JLP candidate. Desmond Smith, the Jamaica Labour Party's candidate for the Lorimer's division in Trelawney Southern, has sought to defend himself following reports that residents of Weetabix accused him of disrespecting them, as he is asserting that individuals had sought to sell him their votes. Smith, who was contesting the Lorimer's division against the People's National Party's councillor candidate Gregory Clark, was speaking to the news following the close of voting proceedings in Monday's local government elections on the heels of reports that several residents of the Allside community in Weetabix had shifted allegiance to the PNP in protest against him. What happened to them Monday was that I reached a particular spot, and there were guys standing up in normal colored clothing, white and so forth. They stopped me, and about 4 of them came close to the vehicle, and they were asking for money for their votes, Smith said starkly. I said, no, this is not possible, because situations like this I don't really buy votes, nor do I even want to take out $1 for anybody to see and take a picture of me handing money to anyone. So they were upset and they stepped off and said, okay man, you disrespected us. And I said, well, I have to protect my seat. So if you see that as disrespect, fine. I drove off and only to find out that in a short while, those PNP clothing that they had, they just put them on, Smith added. During Monday's proceedings, the protesters in Allside reported to the news that Smith had told them that he did not need their votes in order to win the election in the Lorimer's division. The residents also accused their political representatives of exhibiting a lack of care for the division and the wider Trelawney Southern constituency, citing inconsistent water supply and employment opportunities for farmers in the area. Ironically, roughly 2 minutes drive away from the protester site, mostly JLP supporters were congregating at the Weetabix Primary School's designated polling site without incident. In the meantime, Smith maintained that he would not become party to rogue politics. I am confident that at the end of the counting, victory will be ours by a good margin. I am one person who doesn't buy votes, and if I can't win cleanly, let it be, said Smith. You will see from the result that in spite of that situation, the seat will be won clearly by the JLP. During Monday's election process elsewhere in Trelawney Southern, to include the Albertown, Ulster Spring and Warsop divisions, voting proceeded largely incident-free despite heavy afternoon showers limiting the voting proceedings. Low-key mood, much anxiety in St. Elizabeth. While supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party in St. Elizabeth were in high spirits yesterday, the situation was different at the leadership level, where the optimism of recent weeks was replaced by cautious anxiety on both sides. The day started out quite briskly in the parish's 16 political divisions of the municipal corporation, where the JLP started the day defending a 9-6 majority on account of their impressive 2016 showing, in which they reversed the PNP's 9-6 victory in 2012. When the news spoke to J.C. Hutchinson, who leads the JLP's Region 4, which includes St. Elizabeth, at about 4:30 p.m., the veteran politician, who is also the Member of Parliament for St. Elizabeth Northwest, was not his usual upbeat self, as he seemed totally focused on keeping the party's machinery fully engaged, going down into the final 30 minutes of voting. I can't tell you much at this time. Our workers are still out there ensuring that we don't leave any loose ends out there, said Hutchinson, who last week told the news that he was confident that the JLP standing in the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation would have increased, noting that the party was targeting the Ipswich division, the only division in his constituency that is in the PNP's column. We have done the work in the field, so it is now time to see how the count goes when the polls close, noted Hutchinson, not giving away anything in his measured response. When the news spoke to Everton Fisher, who was defending the Balaclava division for the PNP, the man who served the term as the mayor of Black River was cautiously optimistic that the control of the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation would fall back into the hands of his party. I can't speak about the situation in the entire parish, but in my neck of the woods, I believe we did very well in Balaclava and Silo, and the reports coming out of Brampton at mid-afternoon was quite good, said Fisher. I believe that based on our canvass going into the elections, once the numbers hold, we will be all right. Based on the turnout at the 3 p.m., statistics provided by the Electoral Office of Jamaica reflected that some divisions were seeing good turnouts, with the Ipswich division, where the PNP's Mugabe Kilimanjaro was gunning for a repeat victory, over the JLP's Kenroy Samuels, topping the list with a 32% turnout, which was higher than the 27.31%. In terms of the mood on the ground in the parish, there were no security issues or concerns. There was the occasional friendly bantering from exuberant supporters on both sides who operated in good spirits for the most part. When I went out to vote this morning, it was pretty low-key, so I got through very quickly without any hassle, said educator Sophia Allen, who resides in the Ipswich division, which was expected to be among the most energetic based on the attention it got in the build-up to elections by the leadership of the two parties. We had some rain sometime after 2 p.m., so I am not sure how it affected the afternoon turnout in the division, added Allen.